So, you want to make like an actual country? Cool. How do you do this? Well, first you need to say you're a country. After that, one of two things will happen. Either a bunch of people with guns will say, "You want a country, that's preposterous," or no one will care. If the former occurs, you're given two options. The first is to say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make that country," and then they'll say, "Okay, good, just make sure it doesn't happen again." Second is to say, "Yes, I am a country, and I shall have my independence," in which case they will respond, "Oh yeah? You in what army?" And if you say, "This army," then that's what's called a revolutionary war. And if you don't have an army, then they might just shoot you on the spot or like formally try you for treason. Both are bad.
Ha! Cool, Daniel. No, that's not cool. That would be really bad. What about the option where no one cares?
If no one cares, congratulations, you're almost a country. At least until someone starts caring and we have that aforementioned interaction with people with guns. But if you can maintain a stable population and grow in relevance and have land you control, then perhaps that interaction can be a fruitful diplomatic encounter, which will end in you being a recognized country. Yay! Go you. Although this is highly unlikely unless you have an established people group or some reason why people with guns would let you keep a country, so if this ever does happen with your country, it's probably going to take a while, so by that point you'll probably be dead. In the year 301, a stonemason named Marinus from an island off of what we now know as Croatia built a monastery in his new home on the Italian peninsula, on a mountain. Eventually this grew into a colony of sorts, and due to being smart and nice to their neighbors, they have generally been able to retain their independence, still being a country to this day, named after St. Marinus as San Marino. I linked a video in the description box below that talks about when they actually became a country. It was a long, complicated process, and it's actually kind of hard to pick a date. In 1967, Paddy Roy Bates occupied a former World War II anti-aircraft fort located about 7.5 miles off the British coast. The intention was pirate radio, but somewhere along the way he decided to turn into a self-proclaimed independent nation, the Principality of Sealand. As you do, no sovereign nation recognizes Sealand as a country, but at the heart of it, what makes it so different from a stonemason building a monastery on a mountain? Sealand is, of course, a micronation. A micronation is a self-proclaimed country that is too small or trivial for anyone important to care about. There are many of them, they are fascinating, they're mostly ran by crazy people, and I love them. I do. I could do more videos about micronations if you guys want me to, or I might make more if you don't want me to. Now that I think about it, it's actually probably more about if I want to or not. Now about classification. Is San Marino a micronation? No. But some people get confused between the term micronation and microstate, which is what San Marino is. A micronation isn't merely a small country. Microstate is a term used for small countries. I already addressed the blurred line between microstates and micronations, but practically the definition is that the former is a real country while the latter is not. Maybe it's a serial country. Quick aside to what I mean by real country. Now, the general consensus is that to be a real country, you have to have a defined territory, permanent population, stable government, and the ability to enter into relations with other countries. That's the declarative theory of statehood. And while it's a bit beyond the scope of this video, one could even argue that Sealand met those criteria. Now, the thing is that practically we also use the constitutive theory of statehood, which is basically you are a country if other countries recognize you as a country. Or in practice, it's more just blocks of countries, generally led by the great powers, whether those great powers are the Austro-Hungarian Empire or the United States of America. There isn't such an agreed-upon definition to delineate microstates from larger recognized nations, but perhaps a good one is the ability to fully function without protection from larger nations. But then again, you also have so-called failed states that can't do this. So, Well, let's just include all that in the chart, eh? So, in conclusion, if you want to be a real country, get really good at making Venn diagrams. Thanks for watching.